Welcome to my daily review. Today is Thursday, October 3, and you could see that the Nasdaq was down barely, 7 points or 0.04%, closed at 17,918. A very uneventful day. After the Nasdaq made this big rally from its 16,668, rallied up above 18 and now it's just kind of pulled back. We're seeing quite a few stocks that look like that with just a little wedge back to the 21, digesting these gains. This week, let's go through it here a little bit. This week it's down 200 points or 1.1%. So a lot of your growth stocks are going to be down 2 or 3% this week. And that's kind of normal. If they're up or up, a little bit, or if they're up a lot, then you're doing well because the index is providing some headwinds this week. But 4 weeks ago, we had this, the week of September 13th, we had that nearly 6 point gain, then tacked on another, 1.5%. And then we had a 1% gain last week. So you're going 6%, 1.5%, 1%. And so now this week we give back one, not a big deal. Just like I say, digesting the gains. You can see the volume is a little lighter, although we do have one more day this week here. But that's all it's doing. It's just digesting gains. It seems like it's stalling ahead of the non-farm payrolls report tomorrow. So I really don't know, why it would be doing that, because it's pretty obvious what the Fed's going to do. And the data right now doesn't have a big impact on what, the Fed is already in easing mode. The market knows that. A lot of people are really anxious about the geopolitical. And if you have, loved ones that are involved, friends or family, that's really horrible. It's tough. I'm just speaking from a market point of view. The market looks past all that stuff and it's looking past it now. So don't let that, conflict with your investing, thesis or your investing strategies. It's the market has already figured out all that news. And so we just watch the price of the index and we watch the price of stocks. And I'm not going to go through all the indexes today. It was just well, if I just go to like a 5 minute chart, you could see how flatline this became here into the close, like the last 3 hours, just the patient's dead. It didn't go anywhere. Got a little volume at the end here to close, but man, just a real nothing tape heading into the non-farm payrolls tomorrow. So we'll just see it. Maybe we rally, we bounce after this data comes out. We can get a little bounce tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, I am going to go through a couple of these mega cap names. Apple just doing nothing, kind of like the index. And Meta is really strong. The strongest of these mega cap technology stocks. This one had a nice day today and made a new high, an all-time high for I believe it's an all-time high of 583 today. Is it an all-time high? Yeah. Okay. So Meta Platforms performing super well. So that looks good. Tesla had a recall today. They had deliveries yesterday, and this looks like a nice shakeout down to the 21. So, still looks good to me, just consolidating within a base. And then NVIDIA, Jensen went on a little media barrage yesterday saying that demand for Blackwell is insane. They're selling everything they can make, blah, blah, blah. But once again, this wedge pattern here, pulling back to a moving average, this one happens to be the 50, and then pop 3.3%. So we're just seeing a lot of those being rewarded, pull back to moving average, and then, probably machine buying, when NVIDIA gets to the 50, turn on the machine and buy it a little bit. So that one looks good. A couple other semiconductor names that, perform pretty well is Taiwan. I was going to put this one on my ready list. It's got a nice cup with handle, but it kind of ran up and got extended, pulled back to the 21. Once again, that's a really exaggerated, but still that wedge pattern here at pull back to the 21 and then pop today 2%. So just keep your eyes peeled for that, just for a quick trade. Same thing with Broadcom, wedge back to its 21 on super light volume, and then popped today a little bit, just a little bounce. Like I said, it's really today was a sleepy tape, very uneventful. Just looks like it's pausing ahead of the non-farm payrolls data. Any other ones you want to look at here in the semiconductor space? Maybe ARM, another one that I like. It's got that wedge pattern back to the 21. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one pop tomorrow. Anyway, I'm going to move on because the China names, it looked like there was going to be some profit taking in these China names a little bit. They've had a big run, and for, the FXI to come back, 2.75%, big volume, move lower, but it's all relative, right? This thing was what, 26 not too long ago. Now it's at 34. So big move for the FXI. And, when they sell and take profits in some of these, China names that, the money's got to go somewhere. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. This is KWEB, just, a little bit of a sell-off. BABA, just some profit taking. BABA had a hell of a move there from that 85.79 breakout. It ran up to past 115, right? I mean, that's a hell of a move in a short time. 116.57. So just some profit taking here today. JD saw some profit taking, and it looks like it closed that gap there. 43, yeah, closed it. 42.81 was the low today, so it filled that gap anyway. That's something. I think on these you got to look at weeklies, and you got to look at the bigger move possibility, the start of a bigger move breaking out of a stage one base there. And the last one I'm going to show of these China names, BEKE, similar to JD, except for this one was a little closer to its buy point this week and not quite as extended, even though it was up 40% last week and what, 28.5% this week. Not bad. But yeah, 4% move today, filled that gap. That one looks good. It's extended by a mile, 24% above its 10, but it's at least closer. It came closer to that buy point there. A lot of them are extended, like FUTU. This one had a big day today, and it was just an inside day, up 9%. It's an inside day. You could see the big candle yesterday from 106 to 127. Today was contained 124 to 108. Still, it's a 16-point bar there, and it's an inside day. So a lot of strength there, a lot of volume coming in for food too. This one's going up every day. So they're not all the same. You can't just paint with a broad brush here. And FUTU closed last week at 85.99, and the low this week is 92. So there's like $6 a gap there. So appears to be off to the races. All right, that's enough for the China names. Where did the money go? Well, it definitely was going towards these utility names. These hyperscalers, Microsoft doing the deal with Constellation. The nuclear energy is going to be needed to build out the AI, and this is going to take years and years and years. So these stocks are not just fly by night. They're going to be providing earnings and sales growth for a long, long time. This is Vistra. It was upgraded this morning. There's quite a few upgrades in this sector. This one is in the top 10 group. It's 8 out of 197. Very strong stock. And I mentioned that we had got this one on that break above the downtrend line about 82. So this is about a 65% move. I checked my portfolio this morning. When it was, up, it pulled back, but about a 65% move, but big deal, right? So if you didn't catch it there and you caught it here, that's still, a 25% move from the 107 area. So to me, I think this thing's gonna at some point calm down a little bit. Might be a good idea to take a little profits. You want to let your winners run. We're in a bull market, and you definitely want to let your winners run. This could certainly be, a 2-3 bagger from here. Oftentimes, my best stocks are stocks that have already run up. This one was what, 36, and it ran up to 107. So this thing was what, a 3 bagger. And oftentimes your best stocks are stocks that already run up and then form a base and break out again. And I've seen that over and over and over again. So, you don't want to sell this one short, just get out of it completely. But, I want to be aggressive and do some offensive selling and not defensive selling, and buy myself some golf clubs. Because when you have a 65% move and a full position of 10 or 12%, it becomes much larger portion of your portfolio. And so just got to trim and keep it under control, not have too much exposure just to one name. TLN is another one in this utility electric power group, and this one's doing what we talked about a lot. The thing I don't like about this stock is that it's got this, wide spreads during the day. You definitely have to enter with a limit order here, but nice pullback to the 10. Of course, I think this one's going to pop just because we've seen a lot of this recently. And so Talon pulling back, I believe, is an opportunity. Okay, the alternative energy names like CEG, this one got upgraded today. And this one just broke out of that little shelf, we've been talking about here. This is kind of a wedge pattern. I guess, I screwed that up. It actually should be like this, pinching in here and then popping. So that one popped nicely. Let's take a look at this on the 5-minute because it opened up, strong and just kind of flatlined like the rest of the market. That's a hell of a move in the high volume close here. We like that. For Constellation, so the upgrade worked there. Vistra was upgraded. Constellation was upgraded. What else do we have? Oh yeah, GE Vernova, I believe, was upgraded this morning as well. And this one's still pinching here. You could call this like a shelf pattern, a little pinch. Maybe we get a little pinch and a pop off the 10 EMA here. So I don't think this one's done at all. Like I said, a lot of the winning stocks that I get have already run up a lot. And then they base or give you some sort of opportunity to get in, and then they run for another 200-300%. That's what winners do. They're in demand. All right, a couple other ones, NRG. This one is on our ready list, a little slower mover, but this one's just surfing like Kelly Slater, man. Looks fantastic. Same with NEE. Another Kelly Slater stock, just quietly. Nobody talks about these, just quietly grinds higher every day. Today it was down a little bit, but still I believe made a new high today. I thought I saw it on the new high list. 8610. Yeah, okay. And then the last one is Vertiv. This one's in the data center group, electrical power equipment. And this one, once again, this wedge here, it was flat on the session. It did pop at the open. It's got this cup with handle. I don't know if that's enough of a shake out there to the 10. But like I said, we're seeing a lot of this. And it did pop at the open. I thought it was really going to run today, but the tape was really, really weak. Maybe later tomorrow or next week, but the chart looks fantastic, and I did put that on the ready list. And anyway, I'm going to move on from that group. I did mention the construction, which is needed for the AI, and that's the electrical nuclear alternative energy component. This is the heavy construction. This is still a top 20 group, and you can see this one just wedging back to its 10. It's a little extended from that 286.87, but I still kind of like this one pulling back. Teeter-tottering around that 300 level. That's providing a little bit of resistance there, 300. Once it clears that though, I think we have room for liftoff. That is Power or Quantus Services. Sterling Infrastructure, another one. Like I said, this is a top 20 group, and what is this one doing? I wonder. Forming this little bull wedge pattern here, pulling back to the 10. Ultralight, whisper quiet volume. That thing's going to make a move pretty soon, I would gather. And GVA, which is Granite Construction, they're doing a project here. This one is forming this little wedge pattern too as it pulls back to its 10 here. Kind of real quiet stock. Broke out of that ascending base pattern, ran up. Now it didn't pull back that 10% move this time. It's just wedging back to the 10. That looks like it wants to go higher, much like Jacobs Solutions. Man, they have the solution for the market. 127 area, pop, and see you later. This one is wow, really super strong stock. Closed near the high of the daily range. These last couple of sessions, 89 yesterday, 97 today. Big volume coming in for Jacobs. So, you got to like that when when your stock moves with the big volume, that's not ant sally. Those are the institutions supporting Jacob's solution. All right, I'm going to move on. I have to mention the oil and gas, with the tension in the Middle East or just, geopolitical issues. Oil has been rising and the stocks have been rising with it. And you want to keep an open mind and be flexible here. This is Kodiak. Once again, you see this, wedge pattern to the 10 and it popped pretty nicely today. It's been consolidating for a long, long time though. Finally, the pullback and then the pop. I expect this one to go higher. It's a slower moving name. I mean, this one's not going to blow your doors off, but if you want to have exposure to oil and gas, this is a field services stock. You can see the the industry group is 168. So these are near their bottoms, most of them, and just I'm going to get to them in a minute. We do have some leaders though, like Kodiak. I've got this one that I like here, an IPO name. This is LB. You can see it looks like it IPO to just too low of a price, rose straight up, rocket ship type of name, consolidated for a little bit, but this move here from the IPO of 17 up to 43, it just seems like, it was just it was not priced properly. 43.08 is the old high. Now it's formed this little, I'd say that's probably your second IPO base actually. And now it's popping up above that. Take a look at Land Bridge on the weekly, and you could see, man, this thing's got a lot of power here. It's only pulled back a couple of weeks since the IPO, only 3 down weeks, and it's 4.8% off its 52-week high. I'm definitely one to watch. If you want exposure to oil and gas, some people want no part of it. That's fine. With you wouldn't know how long these, this the oil and gas is going to go higher, and or how long this Middle East geopolitical activity is going to last. Nobody knows. Anyway, CNX pulled back here to the 10 and now just popped higher. Now it's just making new highs. I think every day this week, just, really super strong stock. But I wanted to take a look at some of these others. OVV, this is international oil and gas international exploration. You can see 187 out of 197. So these things are near their bottoms, making their bottoms. It traded at 37.80, then undercut the 37, and now has rallied off the bottom all through its moving averages. And you can see the RS line starting to point up because when the tape is kind of weak or digesting gains, and this thing powering higher, it's going to show some relative strength here. And you can see this week it's up 12%. So maybe this decline is over for OVV, and a lot of them look the same or similar type of action. This is FANG, not quite the pronounced sell-off, but same type of bottoming pattern here, 167. It came down and retested that 167. Now it's trading up to 188, and looks like it drove through all the moving averages, including the 50 today. And on the weekly, this one's up, nearly 11%. So just keeping an open mind here and just showing you some of these that could be making noise. They're up with volume. This is a Matador, had that 48 area and undercut it, and now it's straight up from the bottom once again, up like 5 days in a row here. It's up more than 8% this week. So as the Nasdaq is down 1.1%, these ones are showing strength, and that's just why I'm showing you this. It's not because they're all in nearby points or whatever, but this is a front line. I would buy this one right here above 25.33 if it can take that out. This one, made that 21.74. It undercut it a little bit, retested, and now it's straight up from the bottom right there at that 25 level. So I kind of like that action as well. LNG, these are the transportation pipeline stocks. Once again, straight up from the bottom. I'm curious to see if this handles out or if it just blows right through that area here, area of interest, 187. So this thing, who knows? It could go right through 200. It's got a lot of strength. And this one is, this group is 73 out of 197. You can see some of its members in the group: GLNG, SMC, DTM, OKE. I'm not going to go through all of them. I guess I will do GLNG since I showed you that one yesterday, breaking out of a base. Yeah. 36.52, and now it's, a couple bucks above. And it's up, 3.5% this week, following up on, prior weeks where it had, real strong gains. So these ones look good. I mean, I don't, I'm just trying to keep an open mind. Oh, and then Kinder Morgan, this is one that I really don't like that much, but I just acknowledging the strength there. It's a limited partner stock. So, and MLP, I don't, yeah, what can you say? It's looks pretty darn good, right? Um, there's your breakout. Stage one base, formed another base, had the 3 weeks tight within the base, and now popped higher 7% this week. So I'm just showing you these oil and gas stocks. I think the pipelines are some of the stronger names. Some of the exploration and field services are perking up as well. And I might as well show ExxonMobil, the integrated stocks. That's a nice move for a company this big. 544 billion market cap, and it's had a real strong week, up nearly 6%. So pays a nice dividend too. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Whoops, PNTG. These are the medical long-term care stocks. Once again, this one's done it a couple times here where it makes this little wedge pattern to moving averages and takes off, wedges down to moving averages and takes off. Now it wedges down to a moving average and pop today. So pretty consistent pattern there for um, Pennant Group. PACS, this is another one. Yeah, pull back to its 50 here. So I'm watching this one. The group was like one of the top five. Now it's 16. So they're starting to lose momentum. But anyway, I'm going to move on to the drug names, ADMA. This one I like a lot. If you're going to own, to me, if you're going to own, drug stocks, you want to, well, if you want to own any stock, you want to own leaders in the group like VST and and CEG and obviously the semiconductors, NVDA, and I'm going to get to a couple others here in a minute, but this one's definitely a leader. This one's kind of wedging back to a moving average, super light volume here. The last week or so. Wow, it was up today. I thought it was down. Not a big deal. It's flat on the session, and you could see it just looks like it's going to be like 3 weeks tight here. Just a super strong stock for a biotech stock. That one looks good. CAPR, this one, really strong stock as well, up 3% today when the Nasdaq was floundering around, flopping around, down 1% this week. How much is this up this week? Yeah, 72% move this week on top of like a 98% move last week. Yeah, this one is incredibly strong, CAPR. And then HROW had a nice move today. Once again, had this little it made that high of 47.55, then kind of wedged back to the 21. And what happened when it got there? Popped with volume. So I don't know how much this is up this week. Yeah, 13% move. It's extended. There you can see 2 weeks of pulling back. So, you got to either hang on to it or buy it when it pulls back. It keeps doing this, right? Just pulling back to moving average and then popping higher, pulling back, and then popping higher. So anyway, all right. Oh, I've got to mention HIMS. I had this on the ready list this week. This is a stock I do not like. They're selling these compounds of the weight loss drugs, and once Novo and Eli Lilly have, their manufacturing on board. This thing's going to get crushed. I knew it would. And then what happens? Lilly announced today, I don't know if it was Lilly or the FDA saying that there's no more shortage, plenty of supply. This one just sold off nearly 10% with volume. That's why I had it for a trade, but I do not like this longer term. I don't like the business model, nothing personal, just the business model of HIMS. And VRNA is another one. I wrote this down, yeah, because it's got that same, wedge pattern here. It keeps doing this, right? Pulls back, rams up, pulls back, ramps, pulls back, and then ramps higher today. Only a 7.5% move. So there you go. It looks like a little very consistent pattern. Anyway, I'm going to move on. I did mention leaders. You want leaders in software. I think, App11 is definitely clearly one of the leaders here. And this one, it's just, it looks like it wants to surf the 10, like it's going to do that thing for a little while. On the 5-minute today, I saw it, started off, made this big move higher, and then showed you, its range here, and then just kind of traded within the range, got a little bit above it. I was thinking of putting on a day trade here with this one, but the tape wasn't cooperating. And so it just grinded higher into the close, which is fine. You can see the high volume close on this one, a couple days in a row here, and just grind it into the close. That's, not enough for me to put on a trade, but this is definitely one of the leaders in the software group. PLTR, another one. What do we have here? A wedge back to its moving average and then popped, as the Nasdaq is floundering. This one's up 6.5% this week, so how do I know it's a leader? What's making new highs while the index is pulling back? So I think AAPL, Palantir, and CETA, there are others, of course, but this one, wedging back, we're going to put our thumbprint over that day and just say this one's kind of forming like a wedge back to its 10, or you could even call that a shelf pattern. Yeah, up 1.25% this week. Looks like just quiet week here for ZETA, but definitely one of the stronger names with high earnings and sales growth. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I do have one more thing I'm going to go over quickly. I know it's been kind of a uneventful day today, and it's kind of been slow drag. Good day to hike, bike, swim, golf, whatever you like to do, fish. But I wanted to point out these restaurant names. They look to me like, I think they're going to move here. Maybe not all of them, but this one's kind of pulling back to its moving average. This is Sweet Green, by the way. Kind of quiet volume, and I wouldn't be surprised if that one popped here in a little bit. Texas Roadhouse, another one of these stronger names, just wedging back to its moving average. If tomorrow wasn't Friday, I'd probably put this one on for a trade here at one. Was that 177? Yeah, that one looks pretty good, but maybe next week. Definitely one to watch here if it can break out of this little box pattern, and I think it will eventually. Nice consolidation there for Texas Roadhouse. CAVA, this is another one. This has been up like 4 times, 4 times itself in the last, year or something. But, definitely we've seen this a lot. And we know what happens when, they come back to the 21, they find support and bounce. I wouldn't be surprised if that one bounced. It's, up 1% on the week. Not bad for CAVA. A Wingstop, another one. Come on, it's football season. We're gonna watch football and eat wings, right? This one pulled back to its 21 here, this wedge pattern. I wouldn't be surprised to see these move. That standard is 431. I like the 409. I just like it above 400. If it could stay above 400, this one's good to go. If it trades below it, I don't like it. So I want to keep things simple. The last one I'm going to show. Shake Shack. I'm starting to get hungry now. Talking about all these restaurant names, and this one definitely pulling back, wedging back to its 50 here. So this is another one to watch. 111 would be your standard. I wouldn't wait that long though if I wanted to own Shake Shack. Anyway, just keep an eye peeled for some of these retail restaurant names. Quiet day today. Tomorrow, the non-farm payrolls comes out. There's going to be a reaction to it, unfortunately. I don't know what Wall Street's thinking. They pretty much know that, Powell has put his, cards out on the table. We kind of know they're going to be cutting rates here. So it doesn't really matter what, if the payrolls come in hot or if they come in light, but I think there's going to be a reaction to it. Personally, my own personal opinion, I think, and, when the data comes out, it'd probably be a little bit of a relief rally, unless, there's something way off the charts. But anyway, that's what I'm expectation. That's my expectation for tomorrow. Of course, there can always be an expectation breaker, and this thing could sell off to its 50 at any time. Right now, it's 0.6% above the 21 and 2.7% above the 50. So it could make a trip down to the 50 in a day. So anyway, just I'm on green for now because we're in an uptrend, we're in a power trend. I'm open-minded and flexible, and if things change, I'll change with it. But for right now, yeah, I'm on green. I think the market conditions are fine. And at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Thank you for watching.